Hello, I'm Pastor Aaron. Welcome to Redeemer Lutheran's Midweek Devotion. It is hot here in Texas, but that's to be expected. We have a reputation to uphold anyway. But that's why I do these things inside, because it's a little warm to be doing them outside. I have all the respect in the world for those who are working outside in Texas heat. I've done that before. And it just requires that you work at a slower pace. That doesn't mean you're lazy. It just means you're smart enough to know you've got to pace yourself in this hot Texas heat, or you're not going to last for a whole day. So kudos to all of you out there in this heat working. They have this phrase, the lazy, crazy days of summer. And I don't know how it got that name, actually. I hope it's not the thought that, people go outside and they're lazy because they're just slowing down and pacing themselves. I think maybe it's because summer's the time when we take longer vacations, couple of weeks with the family maybe, or we take those mini weekend vacations, head off to the lake or maybe to the beach. Maybe that's why they call it the lazy, crazy days of summer. The school's out, so we're on a little bit different, relaxed schedule. I hope so, because I know for sure that those of you out there in this Texas heat working are certainly not lazy. Crazy maybe, but you're certainly not lazy. But that gets me to thinking that, there are a lot of people who are really working hard, trying their level best and putting in a lot of energy to make sure they can garner or glean some favor from God. They think it depends all on their own working and doing, and so they have to do these things. And some of them are very nice people. They have to be. And some of them are just indefatigable. That means they just don't seem to have any fatigue. They just keep trying and trying. Well, because they have to. They keep pushing themselves, and I imagine that's got to be very exhausting. But St. Paul has some really bad news for those of us who are trying really hard to be really good, to earn God's favor, or to get Him maybe to do something for us, or maybe even to contribute in some way to the security of our salvation with Him. He says, no one does right. There is no one. He said, no one is going to be made righteous or declared righteous in God's sight by trying to keep the law, because the sad news is we can't and we don't do it. That's deflating. But thankfully, St. Paul didn't stop there. He also said this, to the one who does not work, but trusts God who justifies, that means declares the guilty not guilty, right? Their faith is credited as righteousness. Did you catch that? It says to the person who doesn't work. It doesn't mean they don't have a job or they don't try hard at doing things. It means they have given up trying to work out their salvation before God because they know they can't. To the one who doesn't work, but who does what instead? Who trusts God. Who trusts God's what? That God's true to His word. And that what God says He did, He has done. And what did God say He did? He has declared ungodly people, sinners, not guilty. So they don't have to do anything to make up for their sins because God's already taken care of that. How did He do that? In Jesus, His Son. Jesus, His Son, came and traded places with you. And all that hard work people are doing to try to earn God's favor, stop it. Stop. Jesus has already done it. And there's no way you'll ever do it better than Jesus, because Jesus is the perfect Son of God. And God says He credits that to you through faith in Jesus. And then Jesus took your sins on Himself, and He suffered the punishment and the curse for all of those sins. He took it away with His blood, with His suffering and death on the cross. And how do you know that God accepted it? Because He raised His Son from the dead. Jesus has been raised from that. He's alive. God has justified, yes, even the ungodly. And His call to you is believe it. Friends, that changes everything. It doesn't mean you don't try hard or even work to be a better person, to follow God's commands, to show his love to others, but you do that always understanding that none of that is leads to your salvation or is the cause of it. Rather, it flows from it. Your salvation has already been perfectly secured by God through his Son Jesus. So stop working for that. It's already yours. And then you can enjoy these lazy, crazy days of summer. Have a great week.